out there. And so, number one, I guess it was for the promoters, but then getting it out for all the fans, because just running one truck, I couldn't do with so many venues a year. So I figured if I put, 3 trucks out there, we're going to get 3 times the exposure. The people would get to see the truck, and I could rotate my drivers, and I'd finally come through their, through their states or their towns myself and put on a show.
He became the demand for every promoter to get their hands on him and bring him out in these different locations. I got involved, and he kind of brought me in the building, and I was kind of like a sideline team guy, kind of helping him out. And one thing led to another after the show. He just popped off with a question I wasn't really prepared for, and it's like, hey man, why don't you go back to North Carolina with me and go to work for me? And I was like, well, geez. And he said, nah, you got to go with me now or never, So I talked it over with my wife. I left the next day at 10 o'clock in the morning. Didn't see home for 7 more months, and that's how I got involved with Dennis Anderson.
So 1993 is when I first started campaigning. It was one of the Gravedigger trucks for Dennis, and at that time it was actually just for a 10-week deal, and here 9 years later I'm still running the truck for him.
What I expected out of the drivers for the multiple teams when we started running, they had to be hard drivers, meaning that they had to go out, and if somebody jumped 10 foot in the air, we had to jump 15 foot in the air. And I didn't never ever want a Gravedigger truck booed, and they knew that, because if they ever heard that we got a Gravedigger truck booed from the fans because it came out for a poor performance, I'd rather for them to go out and just sky the truck out and break the truck than come out and tiptoe around and just get themselves beat right in the ground. So they had a good set of shoes to fill there, and it just took them a while to get used to, griping at them about go, 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 drive the truck. But then if they go driving the truck too much and tear it up, there's a limit that you try to stay in. I always tore up the most. So I didn't want them to tear up no more stuff than I tore up, but you could almost tear up as much stuff as I did. But it was a pretty hectic job for them, because not only did these guys come out of a no-name monster truck, and I'm not taking anything from any trucks out there, but these guys went from getting, 35 people cheering for them to, 25 or 30,000 people cheering for them. So it was a lot of pressure, just an intro, standing on the tire of that Gravedigger truck for these drivers to hear the cheer and the fans after the show. So not only was I putting a little pressure on them, the fans put the pressure on them too. But it's a good pressure. It's a pressure to make everybody go.
Lyle, what in the world were you doing, man? Hey, I came here to put a show on for Dennis Anderson and all the people that stand behind Gravedigger, and we ain't never gonna let you down. Yeah!
He had a reputation to uphold, and for the longest time that I worked for him, I didn't try to be Lyle Hancock. I tried to be Dennis Anderson in a lot of ways. The way I perceived the people, how I dealt with the children. Short of anything but a win in a Gravedigger for Dennis has always been a statement that it's nothing but last round loser. There's no glory in second place. And as time's gone on, I've learned to value that very much.
The exposure Team Gravedigger was getting from the expanded truck roster and even more televised events kept the team going into the mid-90s. Dennis Anderson and all of Team Gravedigger were racing against all of the top drivers in the world.
We was in Minneapolis there, straight line race. And as you know, with the straight lines, the horsepower is it. If the guy's got to get off the line and get going, whoever can get the jump off the line pretty well got the race. And we pull up the line, you play the little mind games with each other, and I always done that. Dennis always done it, we'd always do it with each other, because you gotta do that to just get the edge. We're trying to play the light, and I budged it and knew that it moves.
They leave the line. An incredible race.
I thought I caught the light just right, pulled it away and thought I had to win, and sitting there at the end, we had to watch the video. They was playing it over and over trying to figure out what happened, and they called a red light on me. I probably should have sat up there before the line and just took a couple minutes to myself and mellowed out a little bit. I was a little anxious getting in the line. I knew we was going to have to play the light real good. Dennis is running good times, so it was going to be a real close race, and especially in this short of a course, they don't give you much, and the light's the big thing, and we just blew it.
In West Leb, I was driving the 91 truck, and it was me and Dennis in the semifinals, and we was both pumped up, and Dennis got me out of the hole. He jumped over the first set a little far. I took it a little easier. In no man's land, Dennis got a little squirrely, And I went by him a little bit, coming over a second set of cars. Dennis kind of out of control right there, as he does most often. Come over and finish. I ended up winning. Dennis slid sideways, ran up, almost ran into the barriers up top. West Level was a very fast track. Yeah, and then after the race, was thinking maybe they'd come over and interview us. It come to be that they interviewed Dennis instead in front of our truck, and you can see us kind of working in the background, get ready to go for the next run.
Racing against the Gravedigger team and Dennis Anderson. And one of the most memorable times was we were in our home state again. It was Tampa, Florida. At that time, it was the Houlihan Stadium. My God, I had him, I think, second round, and it was a photo finish. We got some ballistic air. And he come out the victor on it. Of course, you know, there was a fan favorite at that time.
One of the biggest memories I've got is it was back when we was running one of the points races there. That, you know, it came down to me and him in the finals, and he had lane choice and stuck me in a bad lane, and I had to do everything I could do to win because I got put in a bad lane, and fortunately I came out on top that time, and I won the whole race, so it was kind of very memorable.
You know, you talk about wild rides with Dennis Anderson. You know, I've seen him save it in the Houston Astrodome. I saw him save it in Pontiac. One place he wasn't able to save it, it's right here at Lebanon Valley, turn number 1. Dennis is racing Bob Fisher. They go into the turn. We're riding with Dennis. So we have a camera right in the truck, and the truck just sort of rolls over, goes on the side. You see Dennis, you see the dirt coming up.
Yeah, we turned her over. She's over. That's what the people want. That's what they got. I got a tore-up truck.
Coming for home in the finals against the Kodiak truck, Dennis got it in his mind that he was behind and that wasn't going to happen. It was hammer down time. The final run to the finish line, he goes flying over the cars, pulls out a close victory, but then it's time to stop the truck. Not enough room. He gets on the binder, slides it sideways, and slams into the concrete wall at Louisville Speedway. In the mid-1990s, another show element was added. Freestyle was the extra step that would take the big boys and make them men real fast. Dennis Anderson took to freestyle like it was second nature. For Dennis Anderson, it was always about pleasing the fans. Sometimes it seemed like he would prefer freestyling to actually racing the Gravedigger truck. Freestyle was the time when Dennis Anderson could cut loose and show what the mighty Gravedigger could really do.
Dennis, there's one opportunity for you to come back tonight. You know what that is, buddy? That's freestyle. We're going to go out there and tighten up our nuts and bolts. I'm going to cut that old panel truck loose out here.
My style came from watching other trucks. And, you know, it's like, even a long time ago when we were doing exhibition car crushing, it was like that was back in the day when the tallest, shiniest truck with the most KC lights won. They'd run over the cars from hood to trunk and break the windshields, and they're like, yeah. Well, I started hitting them sideways, and you really get some air off of them. I called it iron walling the cars. Well, then after everybody started copying and doing that, you'd see monster trucks drive around the arena floor, back up and jack around and try to get in line, get perfectly in line with the cars. Well, that's really boring. It's like, come on, guys, get moving. I'm sitting in my truck, you know, all strapped in like, go, 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 go. And it would really kind of irritate me. So then I'd go out there, I was like, this is how you do it.
It's Digger time!
So I'd just keep a steady, I never backed up in my truck. When I went driving out that door, if I backed up, it was because I slid up into the corner and got myself hemmed up. I always kept a forward momentum going on, and I didn't hit the same obstacle twice. If it felt really good, not unless I was going to come back and try to jump bigger the next time. And my style was, as I always kept in my mind, is like, okay, you got to bore them before you can thrill them. So you start off easy, kind of trotting, and then at the end of the deal, you're just running as hard as you can go, and you're just falling on the floor or whatever it took, you know. And it really worked out good. There's a lot of people out there that follow my freestyle that I started a long time ago now.
As Dennis Anderson and Team Gravedigger moved out of the 1990s, a new outlook came along, as well as a new TV racing series. Dennis captured his first world championship on TNN Motor Madness.
Dennis Anderson, you know he's got the championship, but he really wants to win here in St. Louis. You can see that in his eyes. He talked about the problems that he's having with his back. We certainly hope that he's feeling okay, because it really does shake you around a little bit, especially on this course. You see the checkered flag on the back? He's got that for winning the race a week ago, but the flag used to belong to that man, Bulldozer. And Tom Meents, and Bulldozer gets a lot of air, as he usually does, around that turn here. It's Gravedigger.
They're even. They're dead even.
They are dead even. We will see how they negotiate this final turn. Digger does it very, very smooth, but so does Tom Meents. He's got some horsepower. Let's see.
Oh, my.
That's too close to
Who
call.
won?
That is all. Oh, my.
We're going to get it on the axle, Mike. I got to tell you, this is now the rivalry in monster truck racing. The superstar for years, the icon of the sport, Dennis Anderson. He kind of got himself slapped around a little bit here a few weeks ago on Road Madness when Tom Meents came in and dominated. It's meant a lot to Anderson to come back and beat him. And I'll tell you, he goes all out against this guy. What a race.
And we hear Dennis Anderson has been declared the winner.
That was the most incredible race I think we've seen all season.
I know it. It was in the second round. I couldn't believe it being Tom.
He knows he's got to go full out to beat Gravedigger. And let's remember that Dennis Anderson has had a little problem with his back as he points that nose down over that first jump. He said, you know, that's a problem. It almost knocks the wind out of him. So we'll see what happens and how it affects him as now they come around and take this final turn. Digger. Oh, my! Gravedigger!
What a piece of driving. What an incredible save that was, Mike.
Crusher's gonna win.
I thought it was great that I captured this championship, but then it's like, once I captured it, it was cool, but I wasn't used to winning them, so it wasn't really a great big thrill to me, because I've known like Bigfoot and USA One, when they were on their winning streak, they won these championships back-to-back and barefoot, the people got sick of them. They were always cheering for that underdog, and it was cool because I haven't consistently won a championship since then. But it's like, you'll think about it, if you really win every time consistently, nice, smooth, clean racing, whatever, the fans, they need that underdog guy that's on the ragged edge. This dude will really get them if he just doesn't tear up or wreck. And I think there's a bigger crowd following for them, a fan following for that. So I like the category I run in, being wild and crazy, and maybe I will and maybe I won't.
We pulled the championship off. I didn't win here, but I didn't have to win here. I already had it wrapped up once I won that first round, and we knew we were in there. And this isn't all we get. We get some money back there somewhere, too. I guarantee that.
Over the years, Team Gravediggers had their share of rivalries, including Team Bigfoot, USA One, Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher, and, of course, Fred Schaefer and Barefoot.
And moving into the year 2000, the biggest rivalry in monster truck racing history was developing. Dennis had a new truck and a new driving style. But now there was someone out there who wanted to knock him off the top of the mountain, who wanted to take the limelight away from Team Gravedigger.
And Bulldozer living up to the top.
Grave who? Grave Digger? Who's that? I'm trying to figure out what I want to put on that flag.
Well, we're going to see right now what that 50 Chevy panel wagon can do against Bulldozer. Love the look of both of these trucks, and I think we got a good one.
You know, Dennis is trying to stay as the king of the mountain, and here comes the kid who's going to try and knock him off the top, Tom Meents. What a great showdown this sets up to be, and make no mistake about it, Tom Meents is brimming with confidence. He believes he's going to win this race. There's never been a driver more confident, though, than Dennis Anderson. Both these guys expect to win this race, but only one's going to the finals. Todd Frolics had to love it barefoot. Let him go after each other. You know, he's going to sit back and wait.
We're in the final run here of the semifinals.
Wide turn by Dennis. That hurts him.
What a great turn by Tom Meents, and Bulldozer living up to the top. He's done it. Oh, the crowd is stunned here as Bulldozer and Tom Meents. Look at the excitement.
I knew that dude right there was going to be trouble. He ran hard, and he freestyled the truck good.
He's going to have a lot to deal with, you know. This thing's running good, and we're having fun. That's the best part about it.
And I could tell back then he would watch me freestyle, and I've been to a few shows with him where nobody else copied my style. Tom started copying some of my style. He always kept rolling for one thing. Then crossed red in the cars and going all, crossways of the track where the other guys wouldn't do it. Anything that I would do, Tom would do it. If Tom could do it better and got a chance to do it higher, faster, or harder, he would do it. So I had him on my tail all the time. He's a tough competitor out there.
You know, he's been the man for so long. He really has. And he knows that I want to be the man. and